Germany, and China, and Brazil, just a few of the countries today blasting the Federal Reserve's latest move to essentially print another $600 billion. That's what this really comes down to. Ron Paul says it is time to clamp down, and he's ready to step up and do just that. The Republican Texas congressman could soon head the committee overseeing the central bank. He joins me on the phone. Congressman, good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
First of all, how do you feel about your son? I mean, the two of you are going to be power brokers on the Hill, huh?
Well, who knows what will happen, but we were happy with the election. Let me tell you that.
I think you guys are now part of a dynasty, but who knows?
It's pretty early to tell that yet.
Indeed. But, Congressman, it's not too early, you say, to sort of reassess this whole Federal Reserve and its ability to go in the markets and buy gazillions of dollars worth of bonds and intervene. You've had and say enough. What do you mean?
Well, it's been an issue that I've worked on for a long time because I consider it central economic planning by monetary authorities, and they do it in secret, and usually the chairman is the boss, so we're down to the point where one individual can dictate how much money we're supposed to have circulating, what the interest rate should be. It's the worst kind of central economic planning. It gets us into trouble, and then when the trouble really becomes apparent to everybody, then they go running to the Fed, bail us out, and that's what they did a couple of years ago, and what did they do? They printed a lot more money again. I mean, it is such a foolish foreign policy, but probably to me the most outrageous legal part of this is that, you know, yes, this week he announced he'll do $600 billion. He might do $900 billion. Who knows how much? They've done $1.7 trillion already. But where?
By the way, you're referring to buying back a lot of Treasury paper, mortgage-backed securities in an effort to keep rates very low. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But where and why did they get this authority? Congress allowed them to have it, but, you know, it was assumed when we started our country we'd have honest money, there was no printing, no emitting bills of credit. Congress would authorize expenditures and tax people and pay the bills. But here it is, literally trillions of dollars can be done off budget. It makes Congress really irrelevant. You know, if they can do that much, Congress doesn't even get a chance to really look at the books and audit the Federal Reserve, let alone have any input into this. And, it's coming to an end because they have failed. The system was deeply flawed, and I think that's what we're facing, and that's why I think it's going to be very interesting studying and understanding what monetary policy is all about and how it influences and causes the business cycle. So I think it's a key period of time in our history in which we live, and I think it's very important that people come around to understanding. I am excited about it because a lot more people are looking at the Fed, and like you said in your opening comments, even around the world, they're saying, hey, maybe this Fed is out of control, which means maybe the American dollar is not so hot anymore.
Well, would you disband the Fed? Would you just dissolve it?
Well, that's not my position. My little booklet I wrote on it, I said that we should end the Fed, but I don't call for the end tomorrow. I want just competition for a transition. I want to legalize the Constitution. I want to legalize contracts, legalize competing currencies. That has been advised by...
But are you worried, Congressman, people who say that if the reason for a Fed, an organization like it, is to depoliticize this process, and in Congress's hands, everything's going to be politicized.
No, yeah, but I'm not advocating that the Congress set monetary policy. I want the market to set interest rates and the market to set the supply of money. So that's a lot different than having Congress take it over. I've never advocated that. Some people do. A populist generally argues the case that the Congress should print the money, like Lincoln backs, the greenbacks, and just pour the money. I don't accept that. No, I think you should have gold and silver as legal tender, and the Congress has that responsibility to honor the integrity of the unit of account, and you don't need a central bank to create money out of credit. See, the whole thing is they came around to believing that they need to inject capital into the system to make the world go around and the economy to thrive. But when you create money out of thin air, it's not capital. Capital comes from savings. So we had all this malinvestment and debt buildup over the last decade or so, and it was all from money out of thin air. It was not, earned money. It was not true capital. So if we don't understand the definition of capital, we can't solve this. But I think the monetary collapse that is coming, we will be forced to it, and that's why I want to do as much work as I can on this issue on the Monetary Policy Subcommittee, is to get people to understand how the dollar influences the business cycle, i.e. the Federal Reserve, who manages the dollar, and what we're going to do when we have to have reform, because the world will not accept what we're doing. They're getting antsy right now.
Well, that's pretty clear. You're right about that. Whatever we're doing, they don't like it.
That's for sure.
Right.
And I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah, well, on that happy note. Ron Paul, thank you very much, and to your growing political dynasty, we'll keep watching. Be well. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi trying to hang on as leader. I want you to meet the Democrats.